Welcome back to SeabeeLand. Glad you guys come back. You know, there's so much going on this channel that, frankly, I mean a lot. And it's like, I got to divide this up. I got to do the homesteading part. I got to do Oksana's gardening part. I got to do all sorts of things. Well, one thing that I need to always make sure that I do is the Seabee part. And for sure, you're going to see me constantly be a Seabee when I look at talk about things and do things, you know. But I really want to talk, and I mentioned this to the subreddit. I was worried about putting myself out there. You know, you never know how it's going to go. But like I said on there, I said, you know, not a lot of people know about Seabees, and it really sucks because we're pretty badass. We have a lot of good stories. Even now, even you inside the Seabees now, there's some phenomenal stories. Stop selling yourself short. I can't stand that. But what's the word for it? Inner service, working with the Air Force, working with the Army, working with the Marines. You know, you can always see on a forum, oh, I worked with the Seabees, or I was deployed with the Seabees here. Man, they're great people, and they are. But anyway, we're going to get on to it. And that was the whole point of this video, Seabee Sunday. So I figured one Sunday is dedicated to the Lord 100%. And I'm going to resolve that as well. But I also thought, all right, well, I'll also release a video where we talk about Seabees. And we talk about rates for those of you who are looking to go into the Seabees, or looking, you know, you had your recruiter say, oh, there's an EO billet open. Oh, there's a BU billet. You know, those Seabees. And you're like, what the is that? This is the Navy. Nah, buddy. This is a whole different Navy right here. That's the fleeter side. But anyway, you know, there's so many good stories, and I want to talk about, for individuals, look at all these fucking jackets, dude. They're everywhere. Sorry. I want to talk about exactly that. I want to talk about rates for those of you who are coming in and you don't know what the Seabee is, or you have the opportunity to choose from 3 billets, you know, Seabee billets, or only 1, or you're holding out for 1 at MEPS, whatever it might be. I want to talk about current active duty Seabees. You know, you guys saying, yo, dude, I want you to talk about this, or what do you think about this, or this is where we're at now. Let's talk about it. I want you guys to be involved. Absolutely. And then I want my Seabee vets to be involved. I want stories, dude. I want us to have a digital platform. We have that Seabee subreddit, but you know, not everybody's on Reddit. I was never on Reddit. But YouTube is so damn big, and there's so many funny Army guys, good Marine guys, good air, like just all these streamers or YouTube peeps. And it's like there's not a single Seabee one. I've seen a couple corpsmen, you know, doing their and other stuff, and airmen. I haven't seen a Seabee do it. And I'm like, well, I mean, we're the coolest part of the Navy, in my opinion. Just kidding. There's some cool shit where you go in the Navy's pretty cool, I think. Real gay, though, in some areas. But, yeah, so today we're going to talk about Seabee rates. And there's 7 of them, all right? You got BU, SW, UT, CE, EA, AEO, and CM, all right? So you got builder, steelworker, construction electrician, engineering aide, utilities man, equipment operator, and construction mechanic. These 2 are special. These 2 are not like the others, but these are not like these. So we're going to go through each of them. All right, so the first is BU. BU, builder, the cornerstone of the Seabee, the Seabee, the #1 projects B, builder. And there's a saying, and I don't know if you guys are still saying it, but I was told it, and you always have that BU1 or chief that's going to say it. They go, BU is the only Seabee rate. All others are support, which I kind of agree with. I'm just kidding. I do, though. I do. I got out as a BU2. You know, I was really looking forward to blasting it. I joined out of university just to get the GI Bill, and then fell in absolute love with the Seabees, as you can tell. But yeah, so BU, you're going to be doing a lot of projects. I mean, all of you guys are going to be doing projects, but you're going to be like the #1 crew lead. You're going to be looked at for project soup. Once you get up higher, you're going to need to know how to do your job, you know, et cetera, et cetera. But builder, you're going to be doing a lot of concrete and what's called vertical construction. Okay, and you'll learn about that in A school. You're going to learn about that constantly, and where you just go up. We're going to get to EOs and CMs and EOs, but alpha dogs, you guys are horizontal construction, right? Preparing the landscape, grading, compacting, and fixing equipment and breaking equipment. That's your like life out there. You guys also, and we'll get to it, we're going to go in line. We're going to go in line because I could be all over the place. But BU, that's what you're going to be doing. You're going to be doing, in other words, at least for the last 5 years, of concrete. You're going to be concrete boy supermaster, okay? Learn your slope test. Learn it now. If you learn your slope test and you're coming in, dude, learn what slope is and how to do it, and you're going to be key, because every concrete pour, you got like 6 BUs on it, and nobody knows how to do a slope test. You got to call an EA out. An EA, and we'll get there. All right, so we did BU. And ask any questions throughout these rates, okay? Because I'm missing and then we're going to go over all of them generally, a Seabee. So you got BU. SW, Steelworker, rebar, or RST. That's what you do. That's your you cut it, you cut that RST, you form that RST, you tie that RST, and you weld. You learn to weld. That's pretty cool. And you can actually do advanced welding down the road. You can take classes, always pop up, and actually get your certs for when you get out, and that's really cool. Another cool thing about Seabees is absolutely applicable. All of this is pretty just translated straight out. And for those who do know Seabees, I mean, you're a veteran, you're a Seabee, and you want to go into construction or project management, dude, you're at these bugs, dude. You're it. So Steelworker, that's what you do. You're really going to be hanging out with BUs constantly. It's BUs and SWs constantly together. All right, those are known as Charlie types. I'm not going to put EA in there. We'll get to why. But Charlie types, and if it's still, because I know the force protection, or not the force protection, but the, what's it called? The whole format's changing, but when I just got out, and what it's been for a while now, is you got Alpha Company, Bravo Company, Charlie Company, Delta Company, and then Echo Company. But we're gonna the main ones are Alpha, Charlie, Bravo. Okay, so SWs, BU, Charlie types. You guys are straight vertical construction, and SWs bleed into horizontal. But anyway, point being, you guys are Charlie types. Okay, if I ever say Charlie type, that's what I'm thinking. BU, SW. Now we're going to get into the Bravo types. Construction electrician and utilities men. Construction electrician, exactly what it sounds like. You do all electrical. You do anything from camp electrical, meaning generators and running all those ECUs, all, you know, just everything. HVAC, all the way to plumbing, leach fields, etc. Utilities man, I fucking need one. You guys are just, think water, think pipes, okay? And some of the best Seabees I've ever known, more than BUs, more than CEs. I don't know why, just my experience. UTs, some of the best Seabees I've ever met. Awesome guys, phenomenal. If you're a UT, fucking live up to it, Bubba. All right, BUs, I don't know. You know, we're good, kind of retarded. SWs, mentally retarded. Just kidding. And then UTs, UTs are some of the sharpest you'll meet. And same with CEs, which is construction electricians. But construction electricians, that's what you're doing, you know, just electrical, all electrical, ECUs, handling that shit, and doing 120. I don't, you know, we never really had to do high voltage, but if you do, and CEs can talk to this, speak to this, you know, I'm sure that's CE ones, even maybe some CE2s, but, you know, second classes and first classes and up, I'd imagine are really going to get in on that. But you rarely, in my experience, have dealt with high voltage, you know, 600 volts, etc. But I might be wrong, and I'm sure there's going to be a Seabee that claps back with some claptrap. Oh, back in Fallujah, I had to deal with a 600 volt panel, you retard. Fair. So anyway, that's what you're doing as an electrician. It's pretty straightforward. You get to climb poles, and in fact, If you ever want to know where some of these schools are, I know BUC school is, which is a more advanced schooling in Gulfport. The electricians in Gulfport. I'm pretty sure the EOs are in Gulfport too. They're all on base on that base on CBC. But and then UT, like I said, we talked about plumbing. They're very straightforward. You can look them up pretty much, but I want you to ask questions because there's quite a bit that I do know that I'm not saying because it's just there's so much to know. So if you're going in for that rate, comment or subscribe or reach out and we'll talk about it. And yeah, but and also if there's some Seabees that are active duty or veterans that want to talk, go ham, go ham. This little comment bar down here for you. So we went through those 4 rates, all right, Alpha and Bravo. I say I didn't want to put EA in there, and I'll tell you why. And a lot of EAs, if you're real to yourself, you know why the say that. You know why Natty Keone. Because if you need an EA, I mean, they're engineering aides. They do learn, surveying and that, but man, is it rare as just at least in my time. If you needed an EA, people were asking you, why do you need an EA? For your slump test, you should know how to do that. Or for a dumpy level, like you should know how to do that. All these things, these basic surveying things. Once you get up to, I think, EA1 and even EA2, but second class, first class chief, that's when you really start to see that surveying. If you're a EA3 and below, your ass is in the EA shop, that's what it's called, and you are laminating or you're printing out what you do. You're like a yeoman, but only for engineering stuff. It's kind of cool. The irony is I think you need the highest ASVAB for engineering aid, and I'm like, do you though? Do you? So EA, they're kind of their own breed. They do fall in with more of the Charlie and Alpha types of dude, but EAs are just like their own thing up in that little shop. And lastly, all right, the Alpha Gold. And dude, I met a lot of Alphas, a lot of friends. I would say a lot of UTs were good friends of mine, a lot of BUs, but a lot of Alpha guys. Expect to work hard, dude. You are the hardest working Seabee, just frankly, on a day-to-day basis. I mean, you're going to have times where you don't put out like deployment and you get on a detachment where it's mostly vertical construction. Your ass is sitting there and maybe tying wire with SWs, but that's it on deployment. Other times it's a heavy, it's like, in Israel, we had 2 projects going on at once, and one of them was heavy horizontal. You were doing roads, so you were just doing a compacting and dump truck, back and forth, those tibbers going back and forth. But EOs, equipment operator, that's what you do. You take the equipment out, you always R1 it, you're doing some checks, but not a lot, some checks on the equipment you're using, and you're just you're sitting, dude, listening to music and driving something. It's pretty dope. And when you break it, you take it back to the CMs and they hate you for it. Unless you're real stupid and you broke it in the most stupid way or the most ridiculous way, then you'll probably have your Alpha chief be like, get the there and help fix it. But yeah, EOs, you guys got a pretty sweet gig. If you're at home port, at least in Gulfport, you're on the yard and you're standing there half the time. Every time I went to pick up equipment for something, the EOs were just standing there waiting to do something. CMs, next. CMs, sorry guys, it's raining, so these jackets are everywhere and that. I don't know what to do about it. It's like an absolute army out here of them. But CMs, the hardest working Seabee. You guys are at the shop at 07, really 09. You're at PT at 07, but you're at the shop 0845, 09, and you're there. And you're there until typically like 1600 or 17, like just 5 o'clock, 4 p.m., 5 p.m. Just checks, fixing, hard carding, all this. You're just constantly, and you smell like gear oil. And you know what? When you go to orders on Tuesdays or whenever your battalion does it, I never understood this. They get so mad at the CMs because you guys get drenched in gear oil, so you smell like gear oil all the time. And your type 3s are the filthiest. But I would always be upset with some of my superiors because I go, dude, they're the only ones that get dirty on a day-to-day basis. You guys should cut them slack. Like, it's just the truth. And that's why I say it. As a BU, I'm going to get crucified because you're always supposed to be hunkering down with your boys. And it's like a nice rivalry. It's not like you guys hate each other. You don't work together. All of you guys know each other. You love each other. But you guys are, Alpha Company, Bravo, Charlie. And really, Charlie and Alpha are big hop. you know, big dogs. Bravo, you guys are kind of okay. And then the EAs, lame asses, but they're not, but they are. But yeah, CMs, dude, if you're a CM, you are going to be the hardest working, in my opinion, in Seabee around, because you're just nonstop. In fact, I just got medically retired from Israel incident. So did CM3. I think he's a CM2. Was a CM2 before he got out, but he blew out three discs in his back. Shout out to Marsters, baby boy, I miss you. Such a funny guy. You're going to meet the best people in this community. But yeah, so that's generally all that they do. So I wanted to go over that. I wanted to go over the basic Seabee, you know, 7 rates. You're going to work with other rates. You're going to have LSs, logistics specialists, at the supply, you know, at supply. You're going to have HMs with you, taking care of you. They're some of the most badass, enjoyable people. Some of them are also trash, but that's every serviceman, in my opinion. But anyway, yeah, so those are the generally the oversight of the Seabees. And one day, God willing, this channel grows, and I will be able to invite some on, fly them out, or I'll fly to base, and maybe we can interlink USN, NECC, and let's get to that actually, NECC. Let's get to an overview of the Seabee. So in the Seabees, you have and you've heard me say this before, but you have your specific rate. However, and your chief is going to say this, and your first class who wants to be a chief is going to say this, right? A good Seabee is a well-rounded Seabee. That means you know everything. That means you know a little bit about, and I had quite a few licenses, so I could operate equipment. So I did an EO's job, a lot of it in Norway, ironically, which was surprising, but also in Israel. You constantly can get your licenses. You don't have to be an EO to get your construction licenses. Obviously, there's some things like cranes, like good luck, dude. You're never going to fuck your EOs are. But if you got the 420, which, you know, is the backhoe with the front loader, or forklift, like you can, any seat get that, and it's super clutch, comes in clutch, and it looks good on you. So if you want to advance, just get licenses when you're on deployment and there's not on. You can just go to the license examiner and be like, give me that temp license, and then find an EO or somebody that already has it and check it out and just practice. You got to get specific amount of hours and then do a test, but it's super enjoyable. But anyway, a well-rounded Seabee, right? So, and then there's other times where, for example, I was a BU, but I went to UT classes for plumbing, and I learned how to do copper. And I did in my last home in Mississippi. I flipped that house. I did all the plumbing in it. But I'm a builder. I do, you know, concrete and wood. So, you know, a well-rounded Seabee. Be a well-rounded Seabee, and not because your chief said it and Daddy Chief said it. I mean, do it for that, but when you get out, dude, it's an absolute savior. I mean, it's so cool, but you're also looked for all the time. If you're on a detachment, and that's how you know you're doing good, guys. If you keep getting pulled for detachments, you know, debts, and not going to main body, which is where most people go, people that are watching, then you know you're doing something right. But if you're skyrocketing, you're just get a good mentor and keep rolling. And we could talk about mentors one day. But if people, and I'll insert this here, but I made second in 2 years. It sounds impossible, but it's not. Go ham, dude. Just enjoy it and do it. Be a adult. Have your good time, and you will always have a good time. Work hard, play hard, especially alpha guys. But, you know, I got in. I had enough credits from university to be a seaman in boot camp. Then I got to A school. A school, they had a program like the honor graduate or the top of the class. Got for BU, right? Was able to advance immediately to 3rd class when they got to the battalion, and they served, I think, 4 months with battalion. After you serve 4 months, then you get turbo crowed. That's what it was called, turbo crowed. Turbo crow. You put on a crow, turbo crow. So you were known as a turbo crow. And I made 3rd, and then on my first deployment, I was able to make 2nd off the test, the exam. I'm not even going to talk about map packages, which is meritorious promotion. It's pretty much you're just the best. You're favored by someone up top, and they want to put you in. And every battalion, I think, or command gets like 10 map packages. They can take a 2nd from a 1st, 3rd from a 2nd. And that was really hard for me getting out because I made 2nd, but I was about to be mapped just before I got out, and it was a knife in the throat. My whole career just shattered, and I was SpaceX skyrocketing. Potter, You're my boy. If you guys know B2 Potter and MCB11, dude, he's a doozy. He's a doozy, but he was my rival. I respect him. Totally different type of people, him and I, on the outside, but in the inside, meaning service, that was my boy. Love him, miss him. Hope you're doing well, Potter. But yeah, meritorious advancement. There's a lot of ways to advance, but you know, well, went off on a tangent. But the point being is be a well-rounded Seabee. Right, that's number one. And then I'm going to go over one more thing right now on this video for Seabee Sunday. Is there's 3 types of bees. So you've got your rates, your 7 rates, and then you have, you know, your well-rounded Seabee, which is you want to be kind of all of them. But there are 7 rates, but there are really 3 types of bees. And this is true, and a lot of you guys will see this and agree with it. And some of you might add to it or say that's not really true, but it is. Number 1, truly the top bee, the number 1 of the 3, Seabee. I should be a poet. The projects bee. You're a Seabee. You should be on point when it comes to projects, meaning know how to read blueprints, know how to present them, know how to manage things, crew lead, but project management, read a schedule, read a project package, which is a massive binder. And that's probably the hardest thing you'll ever do in the Seabees. So if you get in the Seabees, learn a project package, go through crew lead class, go through project soup, and you will and do it and understand it and study, and you'll be a chief before you know it. But a projects bee. A Seabee is known, and I'll get my ass whipped, but I'll fist fight combat engineers, I'll fist fight prime beef, I'll fist fight Red Horse. These are Air Force, and then Army guys, and then also Marine engineering battalions. I'll fist fight them too. Seabees are the best. We're the cream of the crop. We will take this hillside and we will create a paradise. A paradise. There's a reason Air Force comes to our base to learn how to build. There's a reason that Army comes to our base to learn how to build. Just saying. Okay, but there's different kind of construction jobs, but Seabees you are known as the project bees, bro. You are the you are the bees of the 7 seas, bro, and you got to learn to build. So going back to those 3 bees, number 1, the projects bee, meaning you are a Seabee who focused on what it is to be a Seabee. You can build, you do fight, right? We build, we fight, but you build. You know how to come up with solutions. You know how to take care of projects. You know if there's a problem in the chief's mess. And this happens, dude, because you stay in long enough, it's easy to become a chief. You look for the chiefs that boost. That's how you know he's a good chief. But if you got a chief who's been there for 20 years, you're like, oh, so you could just sit here for a while and you'll make it there. And you will. But you'll get called into chief, and they say, and I had this happen at Effects, Rutko, what are we going to do? And I remember laughing. I was, I was second. And I looked and I had a senior and a chief of Charlie types, right, in charge of projects for main body. What are we going to do? And I looked at them and I said, you got the anchor. This is your job. What are we going to do? You're supposed to tell me. And I had a good relationship with them, so they kind of laughed. And I said, I'll figure it out. And you do. So projects bees, and that's really what I focused on, because you can focus on kind of 3. Was being a project bee. But always be a well-rounded. You should be all of them. You should be all of them. Be a projects bee. You're the top of the dog. You are the Seabee of the bees. So projects bee. Got questions, ask. Second, and this is kind of also equally, but not as equal, because we're a defensive force. We're not offensive. So when we deploy and do FOBs and build FOBs, we actually get attached to Marines. And Marines are your pits and taking care of your cordon and whatnot. We know how to do it, but that's from my understanding what we were taught. And I was a peacetime Seabee, really. I mean, we were still during GWOT, but nothing was going on with Seabees. We did get into some heat here and there, but very minimal, nothing like it used to be. And God willing, we don't have to deal with it for a while, hopefully, but maybe it won't. And don't sell yourself short if you're a peacetime Seabee, okay? And we can talk about that too, and I really want to talk about that with you bees, okay? We give ourselves so much. Going back onto the second one, a tactician, the tactful bee. And honestly, dude, and I met quite a few of them, and they're great, right? You know projects, right? Just like any Seabee, but you didn't focus on that. You focused on the tactician. So, and I knew an SW1 Rodriguez, who's a Chief Rodriguez. Shout out to you, my boy. And him and I used to kind of butt heads, but you learn how to get along with each other and work together. And You know, we had a love-hate relationship. At least I thought, Rod. Maybe we didn't. But he's a great guy. And he was, in my opinion, like one of the epitomes of a tactician bee. And a tactician bee, you know your formations, right? You know your patrols. Because we get all our instruction from the Marines, and I think we're still doing Vietnam tactics, and I don't know why, but that's that's why we're formed in battalions. We follow Marine formation. We don't have divisions and shit that the Navy has. But yeah, so you're focused on guns, crew serve, small arms. You're going through fire team lead, which I heard was not a thing anymore, which is stupid. NECC, what the group? Get it back. Fire team leader, which was one of the best courses I ever took as doing tactics. Squad leader, where you go up to Shelby and I shot the 203. I shot an AT-4, is a rocket launcher, grenade launcher. You got to use NVGs, night vision goggles. You got to use thermals. You got to BZO and PEC 15s. I think they're called, the laser. It's an incredible. Loved being a Seabee. But that's a tactician bee. He knows everything. On FEX, he is the boy, you know, the tits, bro. He is the tits on FEX, meaning he knows what to do at the ECP and he knows instruction on how to handle the entry control point. He knows what to do with QRF, the quick reaction force. He knows where to set his pits up. He knows how to do range cards like it's a back of a cereal box. Dead ass tactician bee. I don't think he's the number one bee. I still think projects, because that's what you are, a Seabee. You are a builder. You do fight, but your main focus is defending. Not defending, but focus is building, and then you defend. But you're not a tactician like a Marine where you have to go on the offense. All right, unless it's what's it called? And you guys do my call signs. My boys call out tactician bees. Summon. I summon you guys. I don't remember when the CO dies, but it's like all hands to the lines. Then you're fucking going ham, and it's a blast. But yeah, so that's the second bee, tactician bees. You know how to do the 50 cal. You know how to service it. You know how to do the, what is it, Mark 18 grenade launcher. I didn't get to shoot that. That was cool. I never went through crew serve because I focused more on construction classes. So that's the second bee. So both Seabees, badass Seabees. If you're a well-rounded Seabees, you're both. But really, I think just a little under the first, Seabee, you know, projects bee. Third bee, and in my opinion, trash. You suck, and you need to get out there. And you actually get yelled at, and are kind of like treated like the help. You're a Seabee, but you're like a yeoman. You're like lame. You're like, you need to get out there. You need to go and figure it out. You need to get on a project. You'll always hear that to these bees, and these bees are collateral queens. And I'm sure every command or every division or every rate has collateral queens, but in Seabees, we have collateral queens, okay? The collateral queens, dude, you're sitting at the office desk. You're the adjutant, meaning you're doing muster reports in the morning. You're just doing work, just paperwork. And you get in there when you get older and you start project souping and stuff. Project bees will get there. But like a collateral bee, dude, I mean, you have some of these guys, and I know one personally who I'm not going to talk about, super nice guy, very nice guy. But for example, he was the photographer. I can't remember what that's called because I never did it. It's like you're on deployment, you get tasked with it. You're the PL. I don't even know. You guys know what I'm talking about, Seabees. But you're like, he was the photographer for battalion, but then he was the adjutant for like, I don't know. And he was a BU. He made second and never picked up a hammer. Never picked up a hammer. How the is that a Seabee? I don't know. But if you get to that level, it gets to a point, like for first, if you're going to make first, you need to be on a project. You have to, it's called the Navy ladder, and you have to do specific things to promote, essentially, if you want to promote on time or before time or look really good. And one of them as a BU for sure is being a crew leader. You got to be a crew leader. If you're crew leading at third class, you're a boss, dude. Like, they trust you and you're doing great. Second class is typically when you see crew leads. And same for project soups. Project soups are usually first classes, but if you're a second class project souping, and Potter has done this in real time. I've done it on FEX time. Well, I guess I did it in Norway. I did a lot of this. You wear a lot of hats on small debts. It was 10 guys, and I was safety. I was crew lead in Project Soup, which is conflicting. You're not supposed to do that. I don't know how he made it work. Soothheimer, Master Chief. I got to text you soon. But, yeah, going back to collateral queens, dude. Yeah, you need them. You do need them. Like, you need somebody to do the reports. You need somebody to do that paperwork. Sorry, I'm in the woods, so I'm waiting for some crazy to pop off. But yeah, those are the bees that are just like, are you really a Seabee? Really? Just put a yeoman there. I don't know why we don't put yeomans there. Every Seabee should be out on a project or at the yard. It's just true. So anyway, those are the 3 bees. So we have the 7 rates that we went over today. Okay, and I touched very briefly on all of them because I can talk hours for each rate. And if you're interested in a rate, please talk, subscribe, reach out, and we'll talk about it. I might do CB Sundays, and I do want to get to stories, but I think I might do, like this Sunday, we're going to talk about BU, the jobs, an example of it, and a story. And then the next Sunday, something like that. And we'll implement interviews and stuff if this channel ever blows up. But either way, the point is, right, Seabees, we want to get together, and we want to, I want to bring us all together because we rarely hear about Seabees on YouTube, and there's a lot of these greenhorn kids coming in that needs to learn, and we need to prep them, and we need to make them fired up to be a Seabee because it's bad as hell. It's so cool. I think, and I'm going to and I geek out. I made a whole YouTube channel because I couldn't find one. Got some ducks up there. But anyway, those are the 7 rates, and those are kind of the 3 big bees. That's going to sum up this video pretty much. Seabees, if you're watching this, dude, share it. Share it. I want to be able to interact with all you guys all over the world, the ones in Latvia right now. I know we're pulling out of the, European theater. We're about to go Pacific is what I'm hearing from one of my guys down in Gulfport. I got one guy in Latvia right now that I'm dear friends with. I've got another guy in Cyprus. It's just like, we're all over, dude, and there's some cool to be said and to be done, and some stories. And I've got a shit ton from Israel because it was probably, it was like the deployment of deployments. You weren't sitting in Rota. And we could talk about deployment sites too. Anybody used to go to Rota every year. If you're a Seabee dude, you've been to Rota in the last 30 years, I'm sure, and there's story after story after story. Last story we had in Rota that I remember right off the top, one of our guys, piece of shit dudes, I think it was from 1, we were relieving 133, it was from 133, and when we got there, we were all pretty much on lockdown, no drinking, no signing out and going into town, because a Seabee from 133 went out to party, stole a cop car, broke into a house, like did the most ratchet prisoners I've heard in a while. But there's stories like that where it makes us look really bad, but just mind-blowing. Another dude got hit in the face with a fire extinguisher, the deployment before in Rota. And then there's just some really badass ones. You've heard the choo-choo train story of the, I think it was 13 Seabees stealing a train with beer. There's some that during Iraq and stuff, you'll hear about, us stealing parts from Marines to fix our Humvees because they didn't want to share. So we just broke in at night and stole shit and acted like we didn't do it. That was over a decade ago. And then there's shit on right now that there's stories, dude. Well, don't share them, you'll get in trouble, but you can tell me, dude, and I'll let these know. But yeah, so I appreciate you joining in for Seabee Sunday. All right, Seabee Fun Day Sunday. If you're from Reddit, thanks so much. Please, share. I want us all to be just like we were back on deployment, dude. Buddies, and you don't have to be in my shit. You don't got to be in your shit. At least you got a support. You got someone to laugh with. You got, and then what I really like is these kids going in, man. I think there's like over 350,000 sailors, like Navy personnel right now, active duty, from my understanding. Seabees, I think we're like 7,000 of them. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's around there. It's like 7,000 or 8,000. That's badass. I don't know what that is in percentages, but look it up. You're a small percent of the U.S. Navy active duty, and an even smaller percent of servicemen. So anyway, thanks for joining us at SeabeeLand, and hopefully y'all come back and we talk more about it. So next Sunday I'll get another video out for you dealing with more Seabee. You're gonna hear Seabee throughout my life here on SeabeeLand's ranch, SeabeeLand's homestead, whatever the I call it. But Sundays are going to be specifically dedicated to only Seabee, topic and discussion. Everyone's welcome to listen. I encourage it, but this is really the videos I want to get just straight Seabee stuff involved in. So, all right, man, have fun. If you're deployed, you might be almost done, or you're about to deploy. sorry. Keep chin up. If you're a veteran, dude, thanks for tuning in and, you know, kind of sharing in the experience and passion of, you know, your service. And if you're a new guy going into the Navy and you're going to be a Seabee, bro, reach out, subscribe, reach out, and share it with your dep boys or whoever, the Seabees around you. They're going to be Seabees. You know, we'll do our best to prepare you collectively for it and get you squared away. So, well, all right. You're going to see this place again here shortly. I'd like to do something up here with the kids, like a little clubhouse or some shit. Pretty sure that pile of rocks is the old chimney. It's very abnormal to see that. I think. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm wrong. Appalachian people reach out. So, all right.